Before we begin, let me ask you something. What if your loved one left home for work and never came back? No body, no answers, only a silent car on the side of the road? This channel dives into real and fictional crime stories that expose the darkest mysteries, the unanswered questions, and the truths hidden in plain sight. If you enjoy gripping crime stories, deep investigations, and edge-of-your-seat suspense, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a story that refuses to stay buried. Now, let's begin. At 6:12 a.m., Daniel Mercer locked his front door like he had done every weekday for the past 11 years. The security camera across the street caught it all. Daniel adjusting his jacket, coffee mug in one hand and phone in the other. He paused for half a second, glanced back at the house, and smiled, almost as if he'd forgotten something. Then he turned, walked to his silver Toyota Camry, and drove off into the foggy morning. That was the last confirmed sighting of Daniel Mercer. By 7:30 a.m., his wife, Elena, knew something was wrong. Daniel was a creature of habit. He worked as a senior logistics supervisor at a shipping depot on the outskirts of town. He left by 6:15 a.m. sharp and arrived by 6:50. Every single day, he sent Elena a short text when he parked. "Made it. Love you." That message never came. At first, Elena told herself it was nothing. Maybe traffic. Maybe his phone battery died. But by 8:10 a.m., when Daniel still hadn't called or answered any of her texts, her unease hardened into fear. At 9:02 a.m., she called the police. Officer Raymond Cole arrived at the Mercer home just before 10 a.m. He asked the standard questions: what Daniel was wearing, if he'd seemed upset, if there were any recent arguments. Elena answered them all, her hands shaking as she clutched Daniel's spare car key like a lifeline. "No," she said again and again. Nothing was wrong. He was normal, happy even. Cole nodded, but he'd heard that word before. Normal. By noon, Daniel's employer confirmed he never showed up for work. His phone last pinged off a cell tower near Old Quarry Road at 6:47 a.m., a stretch of isolated highway cutting through miles of woodland and abandoned industrial land. That was where the search began. By late afternoon, volunteers and police cruisers lined Old Quarry Road. The fog had burned away, replaced by a sharp autumn wind that rattled the bare branches like bones. Officers combed the roadside, the ditches, the tree line. At 4:36 p.m., a shout broke the silence. They found Daniel's car. The silver Camry sat crooked at the edge of a gravel pull-off, nose angled slightly toward the trees. The doors were unlocked. The engine was cold. The keys were missing. Inside, everything looked wrong. Daniel's briefcase lay on the passenger seat, unlatched. Papers were scattered across the floorboard, as if someone had rifled through them in a hurry. His coffee mug was tipped over in the cup holder. The lid cracked, dried coffee staining the console. There was no blood, no sign of a struggle. But Daniel Mercer was nowhere to be found. Investigators quickly ruled out a breakdown or accident. The car showed no mechanical issues, no skid marks, no impact damage. It had been deliberately parked there. And then came the detail that sent a chill through every officer on the scene. Daniel's phone was still active, but it wasn't in the car. At 6:48 a.m., 1 minute after the last tower ping, Daniel's phone sent a text message. To Elena, running late. Don't worry. Elena swore, through sobs and shaking breaths, that Daniel did not write that message. He never said don't worry, she told detectives. That wasn't him. As night fell, search teams expanded into the woods. Dogs tracked Daniel sent from the driver's side door, straight into the trees. And then, abruptly, it stopped, as if Daniel had vanished into thin air. The next day, the story hit the news. Tips poured in. Some claimed they'd seen Daniel pulled over by a police cruiser. Others insisted they spotted a man matching his description, arguing with someone near the woods. One anonymous caller said Daniel owed money. Another claimed Elena was acting strange. The pressure mounted. Detectives dug into Daniel's life, expecting secrets. Instead, they found stability. No criminal record. No affairs. No gambling debts. No enemies that anyone could name. But then they accessed his work computer. Buried deep in his email history were encrypted attachments sent from a burner address. Files Daniel had opened at 5:58 a.m., just minutes before leaving home. No one could immediately decrypt them. When they finally did, the contents raised more questions than answers. Shipping manifests, altered delivery routes, hidden cargo codes, and one handwritten note scanned into the file. If you read this and I'm gone, trust no one, not even the people you think are safe. That same night, Elena received a call from an unknown number. She answered on the third ring. All she heard was breathing. Then a voice, low, distorted, unmistakably male. "You should stop asking questions," it said. The line went dead. 3 hours later, police reviewing traffic camera footage from Old Quarry Road made a discovery they hadn't seen before. At 6:46 a.m., just before Daniel's phone went silent, a second vehicle appeared behind his Camry. Its headlights were off, and the license plate was missing. By the third day after Daniel Mercer vanished, Old Quarry Road had become a shrine to uncertainty. Police tape fluttered from rusted signposts. News vans idled along the shoulder. Strangers left candles and handwritten prayers near the gravel pull-off where Daniel's car had been found, as if grief alone could summon answers from the trees. Detective Mara Ellison didn't believe in shrines. She believed in patterns, and this case reeked of one. The missing license plate bothered her most. Criminals who wanted someone gone usually rushed. Sloppiness left trails. But whoever followed Daniel that morning had prepared. No plate, headlights off. A perfectly timed text sent from Daniel's phone to calm suspicion. This wasn't a crime of passion. It was a removal. Ellison ordered a full audit of Daniel's workplace. The shipping depot handled routine logistics, but the decrypted files told a different story. Rerouted containers, falsified timestamps, and sealed cargo flagged as machinery that weighed far too much. Someone was moving something illegal through legitimate channels, and Daniel had seen it. At 2:17 a.m. on the fourth night, Elena Mercer sat alone at her kitchen table, staring at her phone. She hadn't slept since the call, the breathing, the warning. The police told her it was likely an intimidation tactic, but she knew fear when she heard it. Her phone buzzed again. Unknown number. This time, there was no voice, just a photo. Daniel. He was alive. The image showed him seated on a concrete floor, hands bound behind his back. A single overhead light cast deep shadows across his face. He looked thinner, bruised, but his eyes, those were unmistakably Daniel's. Below the photo was a message. "You have 24 hours. Bring the files." "Alone," Elena screamed. Detective Ellison arrived minutes later. The image metadata placed the photo within a 10-mile radius of Old Quarry Road, an abandoned industrial corridor, warehouses long forgotten, swallowed by weeds and rust. Ellison knew they wouldn't get another chance. Against protocol and her better judgment, she devised a plan. Elena would go, wired and tracked. Backup would stay out of sight. If the kidnappers sensed police, Daniel would be dead. At dawn, Elena drove the same route Daniel had taken 4 days earlier. The fog was back, thick and suffocating, clinging to the road like a memory that refused to fade. Her phone chimed. "Turn right. Now." She obeyed. The road narrowed, asphalt cracking into gravel, leading to a massive warehouse with collapsed windows and a caved-in roof. A place no one visited, unless they wanted to disappear. Elena parked. A man emerged from the shadows. Then another. Both wore masks. Both carried guns. They took her phone, her bag, the flash drive containing the files. "You lied," one of them said, his voice distorted. "You brought cops." Elena's heart stopped. From inside the warehouse came a single gunshot. Ellison gave the order. Everything erupted at once. Police flooded the building. Flashbangs shattered the darkness. Shouts echoed through the cavernous space. One masked man went down immediately. The other ran, straight into an officer's tackle. Ellison sprinted inside, following the sound of Elena's scream. They found Daniel in the back room. Alive. Barely. He collapsed into Elena's arms, sobbing, whispering apologies over and over again. But the relief didn't last, because Daniel started talking. He told them everything. The shipping depot was a front. For years, high-ranking officials and private contractors have been moving traffic weapons and laundered money through legitimate cargo. Daniel discovered discrepancies months earlier. At first, he ignored them. Then he was approached. They offered him silence. He refused, so they escalated. The morning he vanished, Daniel was followed, forced off the road. Given a choice, cooperate or disappear forever. When he resisted, they staged the scene, sent a text, abandoned the car, erased his trail. But they made one mistake. They underestimated him. Daniel had already copied the files, sent a delayed package to an internal watchdog agency, the same agency that, unknown to the kidnappers, had quietly opened an investigation. Within weeks, arrests followed. Executives, officials, men who believed themselves untouchable. The warehouse wasn't the end. It was the beginning of the collapse. Months later, Old Quarry Road was just a road again. No tape, no cameras, no candles. Daniel returned home, but he was changed. So was Elena. Some silences never fully lift. On the anniversary of the day he vanished, Daniel stood in his driveway at 6:12 a.m. He locked the door. He paused. And this time he didn't look back, because some mornings are never meant to be repeated.